like I've been screaming from the rooftops about how much I really enjoyed this brand, and I just got my hands on their newest eyeshadow palette. So if you want to see an eye look, here are some of my thoughts and learn more about one of my new favorite indie brands, then just keep watching. If this is your first time on my channel for some reason, welcome. My name is Karen Harris. How are you today? We are on our little journey to hit 14,000 subscribers. Last time I checked, I think I'm 30 subscribers away. So if you could make my YouTube dreams come true, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you have not hit it already, give this video a thumbs up and let's get into it. Okay, so if you haven't figured it out yet, I am a big fan of Kryptein Cosmetics, and I was so sad because right after I got my hands on their Secret Garden 1 and 2, they actually announced that they were going to halt their shipping to the US until the whole tariff situation was more clear. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, they announced that they were going to resume shipping, and they also launched a new palette. So we have this gorgeous palette called Sunset Symphony, and I already did an eye look with this one today, so I'm going to show that to you. And then I also got my hands on their, I think this was their first eyeshadow palette. This is the Burnt Forest palette. I figured, why not? Might as well keep the family together. So this is the first palette from them that I ever got in PR, and I'm so grateful. And I picked up all the other palettes in this video with my own money. They also gave me a non-affiliate code, so I think you get 10% off if you use the code KHMakeup on their website. And they're always running like discounted shipping. They have like deals if you combine palettes and things like that and like buy a bundle. So check it out. But they are a newer brand. I think they started maybe like a year or two ago, and I wasn't really sure about what the quality would be like, but I saw so many of my other friends recommending them, so thus began my love affair. As you can see, I bought the Violet Crazy and the Atlantis palette. I think that's what it's called, actually. Let me double check because now I'm like doubting myself. Yeah, the Atlantis palette, and I have Secret Garden Volume 1 and 2, and I have videos on all 4 of these palettes on my YouTube channel already. I also usually create a playlist for every brand that I try, so I'll try and remember to link the playlist somewhere for you guys. But we have today Sunset Symphony and Burnt Forest to talk about. So as always, I want to show you guys close-ups and swatches. So let's get into it. So the first palette, let's talk about Sunset Symphony since this is the newest one. And is this not the most gorgeous color story? I'm so here for it. So the palette has 12 shades, and we've got 6 beautiful mattes and 6 gorgeous multi-chrome type shadows. So the first shade, called Seashore, is a muted blue. Skyline is like a silvery blue with some green shift to it. Parasol is a matte yellow. Halo is a shifty shade that's orange, and then it flips to like green and gold. Carnival is another orange shade. Golden Hour is a red, burgundy, and berry shifting shadow. Wave is a blue to purple to like a more electric blue shifting shade. Breeze is a matte blue, like a light blue shade. Mojito is a light blue shimmer that flips from green to blue to like silver. And then Surfboard is a more mustardy yellow shade. Afterglow is a really fun color. It's kind of like a mermaid shade, so it goes from orange to purple to green. It's very shifty. And then Symphony is a matte pink. Now, the one thing about this palette is it's very much a mid-tone palette, so we don't really have too many light colors and we don't have any deepening up shades, but if you have other palettes, you can always dig in if that's your preference. I really like the eye look I created with this palette. I think it's more of an everyday look, but you guys will have to let me know which one is your favorite, of course, at the end of the video. And then I just want to mention the price of the palettes. So Sunset Symphony retails for $61. And it looks like most of their palettes retail for $61 actually. And then Secret Garden 1 is $59, and then 2 is $61 as well, in case you guys cared about that. And yeah, all the prices and stuff are on their website, so I guess you can check there instead of me rattling off different prices. And then Burnt Forest is $59, and that's the one I'm going to show you guys next. So again, I love a uniform palette. You guys know I say this all the time. I love when palettes are all the same size and they just store so beautifully. So this palette also has 12 shades. We've got 6 mattes and 6 shimmers again. And I just swatched this one because it's the one I'm going to use in this portion of the video. And let me tell you a little bit about the shades. So we have the shade Gurm. I hope I'm saying that right. It's a bone colored matte. Matinal. Matinal is a blue to brown shifting shade. It kind of looks like MAC blue brown. Transition is a mid-tone brown. Moss is a green that shifts to orange almost. Bird green is a mid-tone green shade. It's more of a cool tone green. Wildfire is a fiery brown copper green shifting shadow. Starry Sky is a dark blue shifting metallic shade. Soil is a dark brown. Dawn is a green to blue shifting shadow. Third leaf is a dark green. That's a more cool tone dark green. Lake shifts from blue to purple, and then the shade Black Hole is a matte black. So this palette definitely contrasts with Sunset Symphony. As you can see, this is more like the grungy, almost like a fall palette in my opinion. I can't remember what time of year this palette came out, but if I remember correctly, this was their first eyeshadow palette, and I'm getting it quite a bit after it's been out. I think this is from like a restock or two past their launch. So I'm a little late to the party, but I'm still here and I'm so excited to put this on my eyes. So we'll do a look with this, but let's get into the first look with the Sunset Symphony palette. I'm so excited to create a look with Sunset Symphony. I'm just trying to decide if I want to do like a sunset vibe or if I want to do blues. So many options with this palette. Okay, so I use the shade Sunnyside as my eyeshadow base today because I always struggle with yellows, and I think the best way to combat that is to use a really good eyeshadow base. So let's go ahead and dig into this palette. We've got so many pretty colors. I'm going to start off with the shade Parasol, which is this beautiful vibrant yellow shade, and I'm picking it up on a brush. This is the AB3 from Angela Bright and Sigma, and I'm just going to use this on top of the base and really put that in the crease. Okay, so that yellow wasn't as vibrant as I wanted it to be, but that's pretty standard for me and my experience with yellows. Now I'm going to go into the shade Carnival, and I'm going to put that kind of in the lower half of the crease and really trying to press that in so that we can see some definition in the shades. Okay, now I think I'm going to take a little bit of this pink maybe just to see if I can mix that in to make it just a little bit more defined. Okay, for the lid shade I have so many options. I think I'm going to go in with Afterglow. It's such a pretty multi-chrome and it shifts like pink and blue and purple, and I think that'll pair really well with this eye look. So I'm using the brush. This is the AB4 from Angela Bright, and I used it for the matte shade, but I'm gonna see if I can pick it up with this brush. I'm gonna give it a nice spray, and I just knew from my swatches that this would have the most beautiful shift to go with the mattes that I used in my crease. And look at that, I was right, I'm happy to say. This eyeshadow is so beautiful, and now I'm just gonna do the other eye. I always just spray my shadows and they last. It's a little bit flaky, but with a dense eyeshadow brush like this, you can really kind of shear them out and stretch them on all over the eyelid, and it looks just fine. I used the Melt Olive eyeliner in my waterline. This is such a pretty shade and I haven't used it in forever, so I thought it would go really well with this look. And I'm gonna be boring and I'm just gonna stick to the yellows and oranges for this eye look because I am a sucker for uniformity. And so that's what we're gonna do on the eye look. I'm not going to throw in any blue or anything like that. I'll just do a different eye look with the blue, I think. So I'm going to take this brush. I think this is AB5. It's like a detail blending brush. And I'm going to go into Symphony, which is the pink shade. And I just feel like it has some good depth to it with the yellows. And so I'm just going to run that on the lower lash line first. And then I'll take the shade Surfboard, which is like a mustard yellow, and I'm just gonna mix that in so it creates like a really pretty orangey color almost. Just keeping it super light and airy-fairy. I don't know. That's just the vibe I was going for. And then for an inner corner shade, I think we'll go in with, I think I'll use Halo. It's a really pretty orangey green shifting metallic shade. I think this is a multi-chrome. Okay, so it's kind of a simple look, but I think it's so pretty and impactful. So I'm going to finish up my makeup and I will be right back to show you guys the finished look and tell you a little bit about what's on my face today. Okay, friends, here is the finished look and I'm loving it. I am totally going to wear this to the grocery store. I think it's totally appropriate. I feel so hip and cool. But let me tell you really quick what is on my face today in case you guys are nosy like I am. Okay, so we decided to go with a drugstore foundation and concealer. I'm wearing the e.l.f. Halo Glow Skin Tint. I've actually really been enjoying this and I have it in the shade 10, which is tan neutral. I feel like I could have gone a little darker with the color, but if I don't pick neutral and I pick warm, then it just tends to be an orange one. So I might look and see if they have other shades, but I mean, it kind of works, but I also feel like the undertone's not great. And then this L'Oreal Skin Ink Concealer in the shade 290. I've just been testing this out. I picked this up from Ulta because I was so curious because they make it sound life-proof and I'm nosy, so I needed to know. And then for bronzer, I'm wearing my Chanel bronzer and my Hourglass bronzer. I filmed a little reel applying this makeup just to do a little like how I get ready to film kind of vibe. So hopefully that'll be up soon. And then for highlighter, I'm wearing the Glow La La highlighter in the shade Nova today. It's a really pretty highlighter. And I'm wearing this Pixie blush. This is the On The Go blush in the shade Juicy. And I actually was gifted these from YouTube shopping when I was in New York last month. And I was wanting to try them out and I thought it looked really gimmicky, but it's actually quite lovely. And I really like how broad this is. It makes it really easy to apply the blush. So something to keep in mind if you've been wondering about that like I have, if that's been living rent-free in your brain. I put it to the test and I thought it looked really beautiful. And then I have a new lip product. So Kryptein Cosmetics actually sent me their new Thirst Quencher lip oils and this is really nice. I'm wearing the shade Iced Tea. I talked about this a few weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago in new makeup releases. And so they sent me all 4 shades. So I'll definitely do a little lip swatch video for you guys. But that is everything I used to create this look. I kind of love how almost like this is my version of like a more barely there makeup look, I guess, because I'm wearing something that really works with my skin tone and it stands out, but I think it's more subtle. That's just my humble opinion. I really am loving this palette, so let's get into another look. You guys, I timed this session so badly. They're delivering closing arguments right now for Karen Reed. And like I need to film because my babysitter is here, but I also really just want to listen to this closing argument. And if Karen Reed is not free when this video goes up, I think you might find me in like a hole somewhere because I feel so bad for this woman. Anyways, I want to do a green look. I should be doing a pink look because that's the color of the Free Karen Reed movement. But half of you, no, more or less, I think like 3 people that watch this video probably know what I'm talking about, and the rest of you probably think I'm insane, but that's okay because I have never been invested in anything court-wise or like true crime. Like I watch true crime stuff a lot. It's like my favorite thing to watch on YouTube other than makeup content, but this case, I'm just like, I've been following it since it started, like the first one, and I just, you know, I live in a bubble where I think the world is a place where it's fair and you know that the cops are gonna help you if you're in trouble and they're gonna investigate and they're gonna be fair. But this case literally puts the American justice system on full blast. Everybody is just connected and like, I get it, they're like helping out their friends, they're helping out their family, but it's not okay because on the other side of it there is another family that's suffering, and it's so effed up. And like this cop and his adopted kids, like, it's just crazy. It's crazy. I don't want to trigger anybody, so I'm going to stop talking about it, but this green is so good. And I'm honestly getting it everywhere that I didn't want to get it, but it's because I'm like, oh, I want to get back to watching the closing arguments, and yeah, that's just a me problem. So anyway, if you are bothered by all the yapping I'm doing in this, I'll timestamp it because you can just hear about Sunset Symphony because that's the new palette. But you guys know me, I like to save on my shipping, so I'm gonna buy, you know, everything I want, especially if I'm ordering from overseas. I'm gonna buy everything I want in one go. So that's why I wanted to create this video with the Burnt Forest palette as well, so that if you want to add any more of these palettes into your order, you might as well do it in one go so you can save yourself some money on shipping. And the other palettes are lovely too, and I've done looks with them, so check out my full playlist on this brand. I'm actually thinking of doing a video of like newer to me indie brands that I really am enjoying and want to keep an eye out for in the next couple of months and years, hopefully, because they'll all be around for a long time. And I'm definitely going to include this brand. I also feel like I try really hard to like keep up with like what's the next great indie brand, and I don't know, is there anything else that I'm missing? Like, I really want to try more from other indies, but I haven't really found any other ones that I might not have heard of. So if you guys have any in your back pocket that you're like, Karen, please try this brand, it's so good, you don't know what you're missing out on, let me know. Maybe there's something I should be trying, but I genuinely try really hard to keep up because it's so fun for me. And those two green shades, like, shut the front door, okay? And I was just using a Sigma brush. This is from Sigma's Alice collection, and I think this is an I think this is a 25, but oh my god, I love these E25 brushes because they're so good at blending, but they also really pack the eyeshadows on. Anyways, I think for my lid shade, I'm gonna do Moss because that just looks so pretty. And then maybe I'll add some Dawn, we'll see. But I think Moss is gonna carry the show here. Okay, I decided to go ahead and line the waterline so I could watch the closing argument. But I'm gonna use glitter glue today. I don't know why, I just feel like it. I don't really have any plans for the rest of the day, and I usually never have issues with my shimmer staying on my lid, but I figured why not? And I'm just using my NYX glitter glue. I really don't use this product enough. It just sits in my drawer, so it's like, let's use it today. So I just use that, and then I have this little unearthly brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade Moss, press it on. I don't think I need to spray it because I have the glitter glue, so it should stick right to my lid. Oh, that is so shifty and pretty. I see lots of pink and orange shift. Okay, so I'm going to take this brush from Angela Bright and Sigma. This is AB5. I really like this little blending brush. And I'm going to go into the shade Burr Green, which is that shade that I used in my crease. And I'm just going to blend back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then for inner corner, I was actually thinking I'm going to take this pencil brush and go into the shade Grim. And then I'm going to take that blending brush again and go into Withered Leaf, which is the dark green. And I'm just going to blend it from the inner corner down to the waterline and back and forth like so. Okay, I think it's looking so cute. I might take a little bit more of Moss and see if I can amp it up a little bit more. And I think I'm going to take a little bit of the shade on and see what that might look like on the outer portion of my eyelids. So I'm just going to take my Glam Light setting spray and just wet the brush a little bit and pop a little bit of that on the outer corner. Oh, that has some really pretty green sparkle to it. Okay, that added a really cute touch to it. I hope it's picking up on camera. I'm just going to go off camera, finish up this makeup look, throw on some lipstick, some blush, all of the things, and I'll be right back to show you guys the completed look. Okay, friends, so here is the finished look. Yes, I went with the really obnoxious yarn hoop earrings because I just didn't have it in me to do my hair today. So let's go ahead and finish off this video. Here is the finished look. Let me tell you really quick what is on my face. So I decided to use my Anastasia foundation. I haven't used this in a hot second, so I thought, why not? This is in the shade 4N. And then I picked this NARS concealer up during a sale. They had like 20% off on Sephora, and I hadn't used this in a while, so I decided to get a new tube of it, and it was fine. It's lightweight and it blended out quite well. Is this gonna be the answer to my concealer problems? I don't know. I don't actually have like problems with concealer. I just have like really designer eye bags, and so I like to test out different concealers just to see how well they hold up. I guess it looks nice. I did put on a second layer too just to kind of lock it in, so we'll see how it goes. And I did powder under my eyes just to see if it'll hold up. But yeah, that is my concealer and foundation of the day. And then for lips, I actually am wearing a e.l.f. lip liner and Kryptein Cosmetics, which is kind of a newer to me indie brand. They sent me their Thirst Quencher lip oils, and I'm wearing this one in the shade, this is called Apple Cider. I really like this color. It's more of a cool tone brown. And then they sent me, well, they sent me all 4 shades, but this is Iced Tea, which is a more warm toned shade. But both of these colors are so pretty, and the formula is so lovely, hydrating and juicy, and yeah, I'm so happy with these. So I'll try and remember to link them down below. I don't know if these are available at Target. I feel like I remember that this brand is sold at Target, but I could be wrong. Either which way, I'll find their website and link them for you guys. And then for my blush today, I'm wearing the Blend Bunny Masterclass palette. I decided it was time to try out another shade, so I'm wearing the shade Disobey today. It looks a little scary in the pan because it looks like it's a really deep wine shade, but these blushes, I will say, they're very gently pigmented. They're buildable, but if you go in with a light hand, you can definitely sheer them out. So I wanted to use that shade. And for my bronzer today, I just stuck to my Old Faithful Chanel Cream Bronzer and my Hourglass Bronzer. I'm really trying to make a dent in the Chanel bronzer because it's like a $50 bronzer, and I feel like I have a ton of product, but I have a nice big divot in the middle. So hopefully I can use this up like a decent amount. I don't plan on like panning this, but it would be nice to make a decent dent in it. And then I decided to try out the Prada highlighter again because I haven't really reached for this since I got it. I wore it in one video, but I haven't since. So this is the Prada highlighter in the shade 1, and it's a really pretty highlighter. I think I still like the oomph of my NARS highlighter and the new Glow La La highlighter from Benefit. So that is everything on my face today. I just like to give you guys a rundown. Now let's go ahead and talk about my Kryptein palettes. So I will say this one, I really love this eye look. I think there's so many options here, and this is my kind of color story. Honestly, all of their color stories have been right up my alley, probably why I have every single one of their palettes. So this is really pretty. I know this was kind of a hit for them, so I was just the one that was late to the party, but I'm so happy I have it. And Sunset Symphony, again, I really like the color story. I wish it had a deepening up blue, like a deeper navy kind of shade, but it's not the end of the world. Honestly, I'm trying to do more looks where I don't always smoke out the outer corner. It's something I'm working on because I don't feel like every eyeshadow palette needs a smoky outer corner. It's just my preference, so that's why I gravitated towards looks like that. But I think I was able to create a very fun look with this palette, and I definitely want to play with the blues as well, so I'll definitely do more looks with both of these palettes, but I'm super happy with them and I'm really excited about this brand. And I hope you guys are inspired by this video to check them out because it's always fun to find like a reliable, good indie brand. So I just want to show you guys the other palettes I have from them as well. So this is Secret Garden 1 and 2. Again, really pretty color stories. This one is more like purpley and aqua, and then this first one is kind of a more sunsetty palette but with the green. So I think all of these palettes honestly would just pair so well together. You could just lay them all out and like look at that. That is so delicious. I'm so here for it. Let me show you the Atlantis next to the Sunset Symphony because these are more blue themed palettes. You see, they would just pair so well together. I feel like Sunset Symphony is a little bit warmer, but so cute. And then here's Violet Crazy, which is a really fun palette if you're a purple lover. And I could totally see you pairing Violet Crazy with the Secret Garden 2 palette. So I know this doesn't really have anything to do with the video that I'm filming right now, but I just want to show these palettes off because they're so pretty. And there's something about seeing palettes on video versus just seeing them in photos or seeing them on Instagram, because I'm filming this video in 4K. So you're going to see every freaking blip and blob in this video. So hopefully that's helpful to you guys. But yeah, I really love Kryptein. I've had no problems with any of the palettes I've purchased from them. I also have some of their acrylic palettes that I use to store my Cleona stained glass shadows in. So those have been fun too. I think those are their main 2 products right now. I know they did a 6-pan palette a while ago, but I really like the 12-pan palettes. I'm a sucker for uniformity when it comes to palettes, so I love this. I think they've done such a great job of keeping their brand uniform, and that makes me so happy. So yeah, that is everything for today's video. Let me know which look was your favorite. If you like the one from Sunset Symphony, leave me a orange emoji. And if you like the burnt forest emoji, well, you have to leave me a tree emoji. So I always love to hear your guys' favorite eye looks. So definitely vote. Thank you so much for hanging with me. If you have any more time, check out some of my other videos, and I will see you in another video very, very soon. Bye, friends!